Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Vin.
Hi, Joe. Testing, 1, 2, 3. We got a good connection?
Yeah, you got a good connection. You sound great.
Okay, good. Well, you look good, Joe. Have you been up here lately?
Yeah, I've been up there recently, quite a bit,
Hmm.
especially during that rainstorm. I was on the side of the building, trying to seal some of the areas the water was coming into.
Yeah.
And I think I was there last weekend.
Uh-huh.
No, the weekend prior to that, I was there.
This big storm could work to our advantage for grant monies because it was statewide.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have not had the time to follow up on that because I've been busy with the insurance and
Mhm.
with the loan and managing all that stuff and collecting all the
Yeah.
information, and just it's a lot of back and forth.
Oh, God bless you, Joe. I'm really strapped this month. I don't have the phone minutes. I'm behind on my arrears and everything. I'm treading water, not literally, but I just turned 65 last month, and now Social Security is hitting me for Medicare, and they're taking that out of my check immediately. That's my only source of income. So, they're hitting me for that, and until I get ahead of the curve with my consulting, I'm behind the curve.
Yeah,
But
I understand. I know there's lots of people suffering there, and unfortunately, there are lots of issues that snow
yeah.
very
Well,
costly.
look at it this way: the $25 surcharge for late fee and everything, I'll pay that, and it's more income for snowshoe. How's that? It's a creative way of looking at it.
There you go. I need to rename myself.
Yeah, you're coming up as Renee.
Hey, yeah, because I'm signed into the
Yeah,
master
all
account,
right.
your
Okay.
account, but I want to make sure I got control of the meeting, and you know these meetings can get a little unruly, and we want them to be focused
Yeah.
and productive.
Okay, I'm gonna mill around doing other things.
Yeah, it's fine. Until everybody.
Any guess?
Hi, Tom. Hi, Vinny.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Nagesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
How's it going, Vinny?
Okay, I'm fine. Donald was here yesterday taking photos of leaks and everything.
Mhm.
At least not, things are not coming down, but
Right.
the leaks are staining. And I was just talking to Joe, who just stepped out. This storm could work to our advantage for grant monies because
Mhm.
it's a disaster all over Pennsylvania.
Right.
And you know where I'm going with that.
Mhm.
So
All right.
it is what it is.
Yeah. You don't even remind me, I know. Yeah, we all
How's your
have-
place?
Well, it's finally drying out.
Yeah.
Had about 4 inches of water downstairs, lost some drywall, some wood, a few other things, but nothing more major than that.
Hmm.
So I wish it would stop. Come here, sunshine. Come here.
Okay.
I think my cat wants to come in on the action. Get over here. Come here. Sunshine. Come on.
Hello, how you doing?
Look at it.
Hi.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
good, you?
Not too bad, thank you. How's the wife?
Good, she's gonna be here soon.
All right.
We got a lot of people tonight?
We only got 4 so far, 5.
Uh-huh.
I hope
Yeah.
a lot of people show up because it's important. They
Yeah,
all-
Joe
know.
was here.
They all
Yeah.
need to know what's
Okay.
going on.
Uh-huh.
I know, I take the night off just for that.
Mhm. It's very important. We all need to attend to these meetings.
Yeah.
Because it affects all of us, not just one of us.
I wanna see them in touch if I can go in the computer. I open my computer just now.
Really, can you see me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Because sometimes the light in this place is
Yeah.
the best. Well, I just have-
and Edgar, I think your mic is not set up yet.
Ah. Hey, Edgar.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Good, good.
Good. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks for coming to the meeting.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Get the white t-shirt.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you, Sally?
Good, you?
Good, good. Let me just get my.
Hey, Joe.
We're the only ones here? Oh, hi, Nagash.
Hi, a lot of people today, so it's 9 people.
Hi,
so
Nadesh,
far.
how you doing?
Good,
9
good.
people so far, great.
Good.
Hi, Joe.
Hello. Nice to see everyone. Oh, Renee, there she
Yes.
goes. Great. We'll set some ground rules for the meeting. We'll keep everybody muted until you've got something to say, and then you can raise your hand and then unmute yourself. So if everybody could please mute themselves now, we can get started and we can give the floor to Renee. If you don't mute yourself, I will mute you.
Mute me.
Mute you, okay.
Um,
If you want to speak, raise your hand and then you can unmute. So I think the purpose of today's meeting is to catch everybody up on what has been going on. We have had a lot of issues with the structures, and the rain also recently created some more issues. But we have been working very hard behind the scenes to try to find some solutions. And we're going to talk about what we've done, share with you some information. We don't have anything final yet for the group to vote on, but we are working towards that. Okay. Renee,
Yes,
do you want to take the floor?
I sent everybody actually it's sort of, I'll say a rough draft because it is missing a couple of numbers. Joseph has kind of updated it, but it's to give you an idea of what it's gonna cost and what we have to repair. If anyone wants a more descriptive of a particular building, you can email me and I will email it to you. Other than that, altogether, it's about 500 pages. So you can come pick a copy up or you can come make a copy, but that's the best you're gonna get is what I've sent out now. Everybody can yes,
Do you want me to share that information?
sure.
Okay, you can also contact me for your building if you want to know exactly what the repairs and the issues are. Right now, I'm going to share the spreadsheet we put together based on the information. We have gotten several costs. These are the best costs right now that we've found. I'll start off with the first cost. We have been shopping around. Falcon Engineers, their costs for just one unit, 139 unit 104 was $220,870. That was just one unit. So we've been working with another vendor who's given us much better costs. So as you can see, this is the first one is that same building, but all of the different units in there, and the cost is $155,000 for all of the units that need repair in the crawl space. So this is all broken down into several phases. I can tell you what the phases are. Let me open this up briefly, and I can share this also with you so you understand what the different phases mean. So phase one is waterproofing. Phase two is a structural repairs. This is very brief. We have a much more detailed plan for every single unit. They provided everything that needs to be done, but this is just an overall summary. Phase three is the block foundations, and phase four is lifetime insulation and encapsulation. Like I said, you can contact me and Renee for the specific work that needs to be done in your crawl space. This gives you a very concise overview. So let's go back to the costs. So we have the different phases broken out and each of the units. Obviously, the unit that has the most issues is 104. We've been talking about 104 for a while. And as you can see, I'll put it in gray, the total cost for this unit is about $60,000. Phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get this done and how we're going to prioritize. And if anybody wants the spreadsheet, I'm happy to share it with you, send you a copy also. One of the things that I've been discussing with Dennis, who's the owner of this, is either putting us on a payment plan. He says he's open to that, to sort of financing it for us. We'd have to work that out, or he knows some banks or creditors that might do 100% financing. So I just got off the phone with him a short while ago, and that might be a lifeline for us. So Roof costs, we've been working with several vendors for the roofs. And each roof is going to cost $22,000. It's $110,000, but we have put in a claim through insurance and we're waiting to hear back for the roof. And it seems like they've been asking about the interior damage. So some units possibly might be covered, some of the damage inside. I'm not 100% sure yet. We're still waiting to hear back. In addition to that, we've also been working to get a loan through a bank. We've sent all of the documents and we're waiting back for that. The loan really, compared to how much the total aggregate is of the repair work, is definitely not enough. I mean, we're talking about almost $80,000 here. And the loan that we're asking for is about $263,000. So there is a large balance. Sarah? Got to unmute.
You said 80,000. It's about 800,000, right?
Right.
Where's
Oh,
the
yeah.
difference is about 500,000,
Yeah.
right?
So 790,379, about 800,000, and then the loan is about 263,000. So there's a balance
So
of
we're-
about 500,000.
About, well, yeah, we're looking at about a $500,000
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
So we'll see what Dennis can do with us in terms of financing for us. And in terms of, I know Renee has been working on some potential grants. So we've been working very hard behind the scenes. We wish that it had all come together a lot quicker. As soon as we have final numbers and a concrete plan to vote on, then we'll be back out to everybody with something more tangible for everybody to sort of, you know, have their say and vote on. But we're giving you the information so that you're all informed and you can kind of guesstimate as to where we are and what needs to be done. So back to Renee.
So I don't want anyone to believe that because we're getting a loan or because Dennis is going to make payments, that that's something we're not going to have to pay. All the owners are going to have to contribute to pay the loans back or to pay. The only thing that hopefully, which we've been told, if we do get any money from the government, it won't be till January. Now that money would not have to be paid back, and that's only if we get it. But that's going to be based on everybody's continuing to pay the dues on time and that we make our payments for our loans on time. Unfortunately, the figures, whether they're my figures or the figures Joe gave you, those figures they are just the best guess scenario at this moment. Keep in mind that when they actually go to do the work, they might find something else. Like when they put up the patio doors, they might find that the subfloors are bad or the frame is bad. So we can't close it off that we're not going to need any other money. And it can't necessarily be based on whether a person has multiple units or not, because as everyone knows, an assessment has to be paid equally by everybody. So even though you might see one building is only 200,000 and the next building is 175 or it's 99, we still have to have an aggregate amount divided amongst the 52 units.
I
Any
have a
questions?
question.
Who's,
Hello?
yes?
Joe,
Yeah,
are we raising our hands to speak? How are you doing this? Or are we just jumping in?
Well, I am
Raise
raising
your
my
hand.
hand.
She was raising her hand. Raise your
Okay,
hand.
all right,
I've been
good.
raising my hand.
Okay, all right.
Been raising.
I got my hand up
Hello?
too.
Okay,
Yeah,
let her
you
go
have
first
your
and you can go.
Don't we have insurance on snowshoe?
Yes, we do.
Okay, does that cover the roof?
Well,
Go ahead, Aaron.
I just said that we put in an insurance claim for the roof. We're waiting back to hear how much they will cover. They sent out an assessor. And we've also sent them pictures of some of the interior damage. So they seemed interested in the interior also. So we're hoping that they will cover some of the interior. We're waiting back to hear. The assessor has been out there, he's toured the ground, and the claim has already been submitted. We're just waiting.
You
Yeah,
know how
does
long
that
it's
answer
gonna
your
wait?
question, Ruth?
Somewhat, but do you know how long it's gonna wait to hear from them?
I just sent them an email while I was logging into this meeting following up. So we've been in contact several times during the week and, you know, I don't know. I hopefully soon. Soon as we have more concrete information, we will be informing everybody. But that is what we've been doing, yes. Okay, good, Ruth?
Yes.
Thank you. Edgar, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Firstly, I want to express my appreciation and thanks to the members of the board for doing all of this. I mean, I know what's involved and it's not easy, time consuming. So I don't want any of my comments to be construed anything else other than, and I just appreciate, what you guys are doing. Because obviously this is something that needs to be done. As owners, it's in our best interest to do something, obviously, so we don't have the kind of problems that other people for example, in Florida had. So I'm certainly supportive of moving forward. I also appreciate the fact,
Thank
Joe
you.
and Renee, that.
Excuse me, let me interrupt you a minute. The attorney's coming on, so let's wait for your questions for him to get online. Because I think some of your questions, especially Edgar, will be better answered by the attorney. He just let me know he's coming on right now. There he is, Hoffman Law. Do you have to unmute him, Joe?
No,
Okay.
he's already connected. He's not muted.
Did that Ed Hoffman?
Yeah, he's got to unmute himself. Ed, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, just got on. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I was just making a comment, Ed, and Renee just asked me to stop the wait till you got on. All right. I was expressing my appreciation to the board for doing their due diligence here, because I also understand what's involved here in terms of getting all of this done. All right. I had also what I was about to say, because I had a couple of questions to ask in terms of some of the comments that Joe made in terms of the process here. I also was about to say that I appreciated the fact, because I sent the board an email earlier this week, I believe, requesting that if we're going to vote on any amount of assessment, and I understand we're not going to do that, which I think is a good thing. I just asked that that the owners be notified in advance of what that number might be, because I think it's very, very difficult to to come onto a meeting that might be whatever time that it will be, and then ask to vote on people not really understanding or really knowing if they're voting on something that they could afford to do. It's got nothing to do with the merits of the situation. I think everybody knows that this is something that has to be done. But what we don't want people to do, say, yeah, I'll do it, and then really not take a look at their finances to see whether or not they're going to be able to do it. Okay. So I'm just requesting, okay, that before that number comes out, that we get advance notice, so when they're voting on it, we know what we're voting on, so that we have an opportunity really to look at our finances. Because if you come and ask me for $100,000, $200,000, I'd like to be able to give it to you, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. And then what happens to those people? And this is perhaps a question for you, Ed. If those people that legitimately do not have the money to be able to, to pay whatever that assessment is. Now, I understand too that things will try to be worked out in terms of, some sort of a payment plan, with interest or whatever that is. And I support all of that. Okay. But, the reality is that we're still dealing with a possible situation where people may not be able to do it, particularly people, for example, with multiple units. Again, we don't know what that number is. So if I may just address that question to you, and what is the process for that? Okay. And how are we going to deal with that?
You're asking me, Edgar?
Yes, I would think so, Ed. Yes.
Okay. Joe, did you have something?
Yeah, I can answer that question. What we've been discussing is once we have firm numbers, when all this stuff comes together, is to follow the same process we did for the board election, so that there are no surprises and everybody has a paper vote or an electronic vote.
All right, but people will know in advance of what that number is, Joe?
Well, yeah, that should be in the ballot itself.
Okay, all right.
And the thing, Edgar, is it's part of the reason we're giving all the figures out tonight. Because every one of the owners, especially the multiple owners, they do the math. And if you know how much everything costs, you're going to be able to figure out about what it's going to cost each individual person.
Well,
But
Renee, if I got the number right, you're talking about $800,000, right? How are we going to do the math is my question. What number are we talking about? $800,000?
If we have to have a building secured and that building costs 200, there is no ifs, ands, or buts that we're going to have to break it up so everybody pays that money. There's no way someone can say, oh, well, I can't do it and it's not going to be done. Well, those people, and I'm not trying to be facetious, need to sell their unit. because the building still has to be secured. If the building falls, we are equally responsible
So-
for the liability.
Right. So Ed, that is a situation. Have you experienced that before, Ed? And is that allowable under the law?
I've never experienced something of this extent, Edgar, to be
Well,
honest with you.
Okay,
Obviously,
I appreciate that, Ed. I didn't
yeah,
think.
obviously, I've had plenty of situations where associations didn't have reserve funding to complete repairs. And then this is inherently the scramble that occurs to find money, right? And it's bank loans, it's grants, it's everything I believe this board is already trying to achieve and make it palatable, and then obviously get the best bids they can to do the structural work that's required. So the end result here is the safety is paramount, number one, and the structure of the buildings has to be brought up to snuff. It's something that, you know, it's obviously this didn't happen overnight,
Right.
unfortunately. So it took a while to get to this point, and this is the, you know, sometimes you don't you wake up in the morning and you don't know what your reality is going to be until later in the day, right? So that's this situation. This situation is time went on, and here we are. So the board's obligation is their due diligence, and their fiduciary obligation is to ensure that the buildings get repaired in some manner. So paying for it is the rub, to give you a legal term of art.
Right.
Paying for it is the thing. And I think there's going to have to be a discussion with the board. They're going to have to determine the best path to take to make this doable for the majority of the ownership. And it's a hard, listen, these are hard decisions that they're, you know, it's a volunteer board. They're very difficult decisions the board is faced with here. So I don't know if I answered your question in any way, or if I just went on my lawyer soapbox.
Well, Ed,
But,
in the spirit of understanding and appreciating that this has to get done, you know, I'm known for asking the hard questions. Okay.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's what I'm doing, because I want everybody to clearly understand what it is that we're dealing with. And the question then becomes, because Renee seems to think it's a fait accompli. Well, if you don't pay, we go into court and we take your unit. I would raise an issue with that.
I
okay?
don't think you
About
ever
that.
heard me tell you that. So don't say that.
Well,
What I said is,
go ahead.
is that if an assessment is voted and it's put in place and you don't pay, it goes with the unit. So when you sell, we will get that money.
Okay. When
That's
you
the
said-
way
okay.
assessments work.
But you just added something, Renee, when you say when you sell. Listen, we don't need to debate this, okay? And I don't want to put words into your mouth.
But
I
you
just-
did.
Well,
And
then
that's
I
why-
apologize for that, and I retract that, okay, if that helps, okay? I just don't want people to walk away thinking that this is a fait accompli and that's what's going to happen, okay? We just ought to understand the hard facts. I mean, as Ed just articulated, okay? But Ed, I'm fine with that, okay? We'll have to obviously cross that bridge when we get to it. Joe, the other thing that I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
because I didn't quite understand, I remember that you had mentioned early on at the beginning of your discussion, okay, that Falcone seems to be extraordinarily higher in fees for this work than the other person that you got. I didn't quite get that as to why that was, because you've actually got two vendors, is that correct?
We've worked
Estimates from- right.
we've worked with several vendors. We've even got a third one that we're waiting on a quote from. But right now, the one that we're leaning towards is Dennis Kuntz's company because of the cost. And Falcon, yes, are extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. Even a call that Renee, Ed, and I had, they charged us a couple $100 for like 15 minutes. They charge us for everything, whereas Dennis has been a lot more open to working with us and even open to, you know, his company financing the costs. So we have to go, which gets back into answering the question I don't think was fully answered that you asked before, in terms of how are we going to come up with the number. The reason we don't have a number today is because there are lots of variables that are still missing. We don't know what the insurance is going to pay. You don't know exactly what the loan amount will be. We've put in for a certain number. We're not 100, we don't know until we actually get the loan if what we've requested is what is going to be approved. We don't know exactly whether we're going to work through Ed to finance the work directly through him or through one of the financing options that he has for us. So all that stuff needs to come together before we can offer you a concrete number, which is why we, Renee, me, Sarah, did not want to come up with a number or even a ballpark for you guys today. We're sharing with you what we've done. It's been a lot of work. You guys know, especially you, Ed, who've been on the board before, that this is volunteer and it takes up a lot of time. Renee has been working night and day diligently to get all of this together. Her leadership has been great. And, you know, right now, this is a sort of a catch-up meeting. So you all know exactly what we're doing. So people are not running around saying we're doing nothing while the sky is falling. We've been working very hard, and hopefully we will have some real tangibles and a real number for everybody to vote on soon.
Right. Good, Joe. I appreciate you, Joe. And I think I started my comments by thanking you guys for doing what you're doing. Okay,
Yes.
so it's not that kind of a situation.
So we
Okay,
appreciate
we just
that.
need to be clear in terms of where we are because, you know, we can make plans, the best made plans, and don't always work out. Okay. And so again, I appreciate the update. And obviously it's a work in progress and you guys will be, you know, updating us as we go along. And when you got a number that you're ready, it will get presented.
Absolutely.
all.
We will have an electronic vote so
Nice.
that everybody is aware of and that everything is
No,
done.
that wasn't so difficult, was it?
Not at all. Natalie had a question. Natalie, you can unmute yourself. You've got to unmute yourself on your phone. We can't hear you. The unmute button. You're still muted, Natalie.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go. Now we're here.
Okay,
All right.
okay. All right. Joe, are you guys picking up the money for SR Bank? The people pay the back dues, all the people.
Yes,
Which
we
would-
are caught up with dues with the exception of one owner who is on a payment plan, and that owner has been paying. So far we have been doing pretty good. And actually Sarah has been able to put away a substantial amount of the dues coming in. We've been making an extra effort to save. In addition to the 10%, we're saving an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a month so that we can use that to offset any of the costs for the repairs.
Correct. That's what was the idea, not to collect all the money, put it towards the work.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
far everybody has been working, everybody has been paying, everybody has been very cooperative, and things are running well. Sarah might have something to say.
Yeah, as far as the arrears, they have been paying, but what's been put away is the actual dues. Everyone has been current except for one person who just became current. So everyone has been very good with the dues. And like Joe said, I have put away a substantial amount, and that gave us enough money for also the roof, some of the roof, right, Joe, that we
Yeah.
paid out? So
Yeah. The sorry, go ahead.
I am working on saving a couple of thousand every month after, you know, that's my goal. So we're working very hard towards it. As long as everybody is up to date, you know, we're doing good so far, you know, as
Yeah, the
far
other
as,
thing I wanted to say is we have also controlled our spending. We
yes,
budgeted the spending, so everything is under control. We've created some different lines for discretionary spending because sometimes things happen. Our payroll went up a little bit last month because of all the rain. But prior to the emergency with the storm, we've been controlling our spending and have a very tight budget.
yes. We're able to put money away, anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000, including the 10%. So that's a pretty good number so far.
Ruth has a question. Ruth, can you unmute?
Yes.
You have to unmute, Ruth. You're muted. You're still muted, Ruth. Ruth, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so you're saying that part of the dues that are being paid is gonna be towards this assessment or this roof repair?
It will go to the
No.
costs. I mean, obviously, some of the money that is being put away will go to pay the loan, will go to the overall costs of all of these projects. The assessment, no, the assessment is something that owners pay in addition to their dues. But the money that we are putting away, that Sarah's been able to put away from the dues, will be used to go to some of the repair costs that we've got to pay for. In addition, the assessments will also be used to go to the repair costs, because it is a
And
lot.
all of this is gonna be in writing when you guys decide how much you're gonna. This is the amount that was towards the roof and blah, blah, know the other figures? Is that
All
what
of
you're
the
saying? You're gonna
numbers,
have
all of
this
the
in
numbers
writing?
will be taken into consideration. Everything will be taken into consideration, which is why we can't give you firm numbers today or a number to vote on, because there are still variables missing.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying, when you have it all figured out, you're gonna send to all the owners the breakdown as to what was used from what towards the repairs, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
And the other thing is, the money that we have been saving and that Sarah pulls out, it has already, some of it gone to the roof, because the roofing, we cannot afford to wait for the loan to be processed or for a grant to come in, because it's destroying people's units currently. Every time.
Okay, I understand all that. However, me as an owner, I've never was given any papers to show this is the amount of the dues that was taken to the emergency repair on unit whatever. Why
Okay,
wasn't any
because,
of-
but the
No.
bylaws say, this is what the bylaws say. The bylaws say, at any time that you request to see the books, you can see the books. You have to
Right.
see them at a reasonable time. You make an appointment and you can see everything that's done.
Right.
Plus, at the annual meeting, you should be able to review the coming budget and the foregoing budget.
I think-
Okay, so it's not that it's given out every time we do something that
No,
we
I
say,
understand that, but when was the last annual meeting?
well, listen, we just became the
We
board.
just started, yeah,
Okay?
we just started.
Come on, Ruth, you know that.
Yeah, and I think I know what Ruth is trying to get at. If there's enough money in what we've been saving to pay for a lot of these repairs. Look, Ruth, the
There isn't.
reality is we just took over as a board a few months ago. Since we took over is when we've gotten everybody to start paying. So what we've saved, really 3,000, 4,000 in the last 3 months when we've gotten everything under control, is peanuts. That is not
Right.
going to offset or make any kind of major percentage difference in the assessment or the costs. It's just too little, too late. We've only been saving this money for like 3 months. It's in the
Man.
last 3 months that we've got everything under control. So it really isn't going to be this huge savings because we're saving some money now. If we had time, and we could look into the future, maybe we could save a lot more money, but we're in a crisis now. And,
Okay, and when is this next annual meeting for the budget and the finances and all that?
well,
When is that taking?
that would probably be towards the end of the year or next year, closer to the election again for the board. Remember, we've only took over a short time ago, and we brought everything in-house. So us as owners, we're board members, but we're also owners. We're overseeing everything. We're not paying a third company to do this anymore. So this is one of the reasons we've also been able to get everything under control. We have oversight ourselves. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's only been 2 to 3 months that we have saved, and everything is written out in the ledger. What we collect and all the expenses, everything is written up. So if anybody wants to see what goes towards savings, it's there. Everything is there. And then there's a balance forward each month. After I deduct all the expenses and the payroll from all the dues that we have collected. It's very, very easy. You deduct it, that balance becomes the new balance starting the next month. It's all forwarded. So for the past 3 months, that's how I've been doing it. It's very easy and easy to read and easy to know where this money is. And you can easily see where it's deposited and what we've used so far. You know, we made a big deposit, correct? With the roof. We started the roofs. It was a big deposit that we had to give.
That was
We didn't
11
have that money. Yeah, we didn't have that money. That was money that was just saved, that we just saved. You know, we didn't start out with a lot of money and we were in debt. A lot of people didn't pay. And we're very grateful that everyone is on board. And I think we have a good, we have, we all want the same thing at the end of the day. And I think everyone's cooperation is great because we wouldn't be able to do what we do without anybody, if anyone, you know, was not cooperating. So we're very, very happy that everyone is current with their dues as well, which is good. We have to keep that going
Great.
in order
Edgar,
to move forward.
You had a comment? Ruth, I'm going to mute you. Do you want to say
Oh,
something?
okay,
Raise your hand,
yeah.
I'm going to mute you. Edgar has got a comment.
Am I next or is Ruth?
You are.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you. Now, again, I hope Ed Hoffman is still on the phone, and because one of the questions I just want to raise. and
No,
I-
he's not. Looks like he logged off.
No, I'm here.
he's on.
Okay,
I'm here.
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Thanks, I
sorry.
appreciate it.
Sometimes,
So my first-
sometimes lawyers listen, not just talk. Go ahead.
That's a smart thing to do, Ed. I got no problem with
All
that.
right.
Ed, here's my question. Again, my apologies for asking some of the difficult questions sometimes. But Joe, let me just ask this question of you. How many owners do we currently have now that are on record of Snowshoe? How many owners?
Total number of owners, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I don't have that in front of me.
Okay, all right, it's okay.
I think Sarah does because she collects. all
Okay,
the
Sarah, how
information.
many owners do we have? Yeah,
52.
we have 52. I know we got 52 units. We don't have 52 different owners. How many? different-
Oh, different owners.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
I can pull that up.
I would have to break that down. I would
Okay,
have to
all right,
look.
let me-
I can give you that number.
Okay, all right,
Thank
let me
you.
just say why I asked this question, and then let me move on my question to Ed, all right?
Sure.
Ed, it was never clear to me on a vote for an assessment, which will be coming up shortly or soon, okay? Is it, and I raised that question because if we have 30 owners out of the 52 units hypothetically, we've
Mhm.
only got 13 people on this call now, okay? So is it the majority of the people who have to vote, okay, at a meeting? I know Joe said it's going to be done electronically, okay? But for making just hypothetically, you know, what if only half the owners or less than half the owners would actually vote? Is that then carry? Or what is the rule in terms of not only our bylaws, but the Pennsylvania State Condominium Association Act as well? How do
Well,
they?
is your question specific to the issue of approving a special assessment?
Correct.
Your bylaws provide that it's a majority of the association membership present in person or by proxy at a special meeting. Okay. Even if you don't get a majority here, there's language in the bylaws pertinent to an emergency power situation for the board in a situation where this would likely be a candidate for such board authority, especially given the structural issues that are present in the buildings. So to answer your question, the bylaws do provide for a vote of the majority of the association membership in person or present in person or by proxy at a general or special meeting of the association.
Okay, so if the owners voted this down, and I hope that does not happen, but it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
Does the board then have the opportunity under the bylaws to override the owner's vote?
It's not necessarily overriding it. That's probably not the term of art. It's a different authority, and it would come from an emergency power situation. And your absolute and I say worst case scenario here would be, and it's not really a worst case scenario, but the last possible thing that the board would need to do in order to protect the structural integrity of the buildings and the owners and the tenants and the residents in the buildings would be to go to court and have the court declare that the assessment is indeed required on an emergency basis. And if you provide them with all the information that's being discussed tonight, I don't have much doubt that a judge in Monroe County would grant that type of relief to the association. So it's something that unfortunately it has to be discussed as an alternate here, but your best case scenario is the owners approve it.
Right. Okay, but there's a plan B if that were to happen.
Yeah, there always has to be a plan B and a plan C.
That's the question, Ed. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know, to make sure that there was an avenue just in case it did get voted down by some way. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Joe, when do you think the timing will be for either a next meeting or another update roughly? Would you guesstimate?
I can't guesstimate. We do hope to get the information to you as soon as it's available to us, as soon as we're able to get an answer from the insurance, an answer from the loan company, and we're able to really sit down with Dennis and see which avenue is best in terms of financing and what the numbers are. Look, I understand. I'm an investor too, Edgar, and those of you that are investors, we bought these units. We don't want this to become sort of a drain. And some of you actually live out there, and you know this is your home, and it's a lot of maybe a lot of money, but we're going to try to work as best as possible to make it not so heavy for everybody. Whatever number we come up with will be the best possible number that was available.
Well, is the theory here, Joe, to sort of back into the number in terms of what the assessment might be? What I mean by that, we get X dollars from the insurance company. Let's say they commit, we get X dollars in a loan. Would the third then leg of this stool be to, okay, we need X dollars, and that's how we're going to sort of divide it up to figure out how much the assessment
Most likely.
would be?
Yeah, most likely.
Okay. All right.
We're not looking to get more from anyone than
More than you need.
Right.
No, that makes sense. Okay.
We're also not at liberty to be able to drag it out. And I know Joe says that we don't know, but I'm saying we're gonna have to meet again within a week to 10 days because we are sitting right on the winter. Our structural problems are directly aligned to the snow and the rain. So are we gonna really take a chance that one of these buildings are gonna fall, or that it's gonna cost us an additional $10,000 because we didn't get in there and do the woodwork? So someone tell me, we have Phyllis Kern, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, they're already threatening to levy us with fines and lawsuits because her stuff is wrong, even though I try to keep them from putting it in there. We spent $11,000 trying to secure her unit. We've had a bunch of rain that has damaged the roofs, and guess where all that water sat? Down in those crawl spaces. So if we're gonna wait for the whole winter to come again, we're gonna have a worse problem next spring if we still have a building standing. So, you know, everybody needs to really think, do they want their buildings fixed? I know that everybody keeps calling me about making the repairs on their windows and their patio doors, but nobody wants to spend any money. So, you know, you gotta tell me, I'm working on my building. You know, you guys have got to figure out, do you want to continue to have an investment to cry about? Because that's where we are right now. We can't put this off to a monthly meeting, to meeting next month. We have to make something happen right now. I did speak to, before I forget, I did speak to the zoning officer. And the way he does things now is he tries to get people, he works with the Red Cross to get people, when the building is condemned, into a home while the repairs are being made. So, you know, that is a plus for some of the units. But I have your unit where your people have to leave. Your people are telling Donna Nucci's people that come to look at her house, oh, you better run. Don't buy there. This building is falling apart. You know, so you all have to make decisions with what you want your tenants doing and what you want with these investments of yours that you want to make money.
Yeah, the one, now I'm actually going to speak and I wasn't asked, but the time is your enemy. Time is your enemy here, and because of how much time has elapsed over, the past few decades, you're in a situation now where we know that there are some emergent issues that have to be taken care of, and Renee is correct in asserting that the winter time will not be a pleasant situation for the structural issues with the buildings, with thaw and refreeze and water. And I understand more rain's coming even tonight everywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, the board's going to obviously have to move sooner rather than later on this, and I think they understand that and are conveying that.
And that I concur with that. That's why I just asked the question, when do we have any time frame when we'll know some additional information? So, the sooner the better, no doubt about it.
I think one of the things that we can do is prioritize those units that are in really bad condition, that are in danger of falling. We might have some funds due to some of the savings to get some of that work started, such as the unit in 104 and 139. I'm looking at the report and I can share that. I believe this is the unit. And these are some of the things that need to be done. We may be able to start on phase 1, phase 2 due to some of the savings that Sarah has been able to put away. So that might be the quickest plan of action if we're able to get these started.
Is this in one particular unit, Joe, or
This
we're
is a
looking
plan.
at?
Each
Oh.
unit has a plan. This is 139, 104. I believe this is the worst one in the
Right.
entire complex.
Can you
So
share that with us, by the way? Can you send that to us, or should we?
This is the
request
work
it?
that has been done. If you want a copy of the work that needs to be done for your unit, you can email snowshoeowners@gmail or email me or Renee. We have
Okay.
the actual plan for every single unit. So every unit that I showed here with the costs, this is 139. That was the plan of action. Dennis came down for free and he went into every single crawl space at Snowshoe and created an individualized plan of repair for every single unit. And these are the total costs per unit. As you can see, this is the costliest one. This is the one that we're having issues with. That's in the most pressing danger of collapsing.
No, unit 102. 104 needs the most work, but unit 102 is the most because she went in and put in ceramic tiles and cement backboards.
Yeah, but $27,000 is something that if need be, we can probably get started on due to the savings for the last 3 or 4 months while we're trying to get everything else into place.
Now, Joe, is this work that has to be done inside these units, and how did he come up with the cost for each unit? Or some of these roof repairs? I mean, how could you
This
just?
is not the roof. This is all crawl space. This is all
Okay.
foundational and side of the building. This is all structural. The roof costs are here. And Alex, we worked with Alex and his company. We worked with several companies. Alex was able to find us some of the best costs through Alex is an engineer, he's a board member, and he was able to find a company that gave us these good costs. So these are the roof repairs to repair all of our roofs, and these are the costs here.
Okay.
And that's not all of the roofs. That's only 5 roofs.
Right.
And this past weekend, we had to add another roof. 155 is 104 is having leaks. Every time it rains, another roof and another unit gets put on the list.
Renee, are any of these units roofs that have been repaired in the last couple of years?
Every last one of them.
Every one of them?
Every last one of them. The crawl space was already done by J&R. The roofs were done by J&R. The patio doors were done by J&R. And all 3 contractors that we've had look at all the work have all said the same thing. Don't ever use them again. That's how bad their work is.
Wow.
The way we're trying to manage this is separating the roofs from the structural damage, because we're in hopes that the insurance will be able to pay for most of the roof repair. We've already put in a claim. So we're trying to manage those as two separate costs. At the end of the day, they all have to, we'll see what the total is. But hopefully we'll offset as much as we can.
And everybody keep in mind, even if we do the assessment, which we will be doing, there's a good chance if we get the loans from the government, which they say won't come out till January, that'll cut some of the assessment down. It all depends on what we get. And if everyone can use their savvy, they might know some money someplace that I don't know. The whole thing is to try to get, to use your resources, your individual resources to help the situation, if you can.
Renee, is this state money or is this Fed money or HUD? Where would be,
This
it's
is,
a loan or a
state-
grant, by the way?
This is state money. This
State
I
money.
got from Mario Scavello's office.
Mhm.
And the woman, Pocono Economic Development, she needed to get back from them information, which they've already given her. Don't ask me what or how. But she said to me that if the final approval comes through, we will not get any money until January. And she could not give me an amount she didn't know.
So Renee, that would be a grant, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. As a grant, which we wouldn't have to pay back, we could also subtract that from whatever the owners get assessed. I would think.
Right, we would just have to probably vote again and to reduce it or whatever based on the amount.
I don't know. I'm looking at the attorney's face. It doesn't look like.
Giving people money back is never usually a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you would just reevaluate the number based on the grant, and then any future assessments would be lessened by the proportionally with respect to how much money came in the door.
Okay.
Right, we're going to work as hard as possible to make this as painless as possible for everybody. But this work needs to be done. Okay, are there any other questions? Alex?
Yes, it's Alex here.
You-
I just wanted to piggyback on the fact that in moving forward, we have to make sure, as you say, prioritize what we do. Before anything gets done on the interior, whether windows or sheetrocks or doors, we have to make sure that we do the foundation along with the roof. Those are the most crucial part in securing any building. You get roof leak and damage everything that's on the interior. You get a foundation crack and it bring down the whole building. So you want to do those simultaneously. Also for 139, we cannot do, there's no priority there. There's no one or two okay, so it's a building failure. So basically you have to do simultaneously all the units, meaning the crawl space together. If you try to do one, and you might have some kind of movement that could cause a failure. So you want to, whoever is going to do it, going to have to start like monitor what's happening in the other units as they whether jacked up or do any kind of let's say shoring or any kind of work that needs to get done. There has to be monitored what's happening in the other units as they do the work.
Right. That's truly right. But we still need to have, we have to have 103 emptied. Because even if we decide to move forward with Dennis, we need 103 emptied so that he can go in there and do the work and be done with it.
Oh, Renee,
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
who's the owner of 103?
I do.
Okay, okay. So the reason why I asked, I'm trying to figure out if they already contact the owner and what's the possibility of the owner, trying to put that into implementing that.
Alex, the update on that is that the owner has been notified, which is me, and the tenant has also been notified, okay, that they're gonna have to relocate. Renee shared, and they've been, everybody knows what's happening to the real estate market around this country, all right? And Poconos is the same way. Rents have gone through the roof as well as prices of homes, okay? It's starting to slow down a little bit, but, you know, it's just been an aberration, obviously, because of COVID, you know, and as investors and owners, you know, that's a positive aspect because it increased the value, you know, of the properties up there. Having said that, yeah, it's just not easy to find a place, but the tenants are diligently working, trying to find a place. And I will share with them now, Renee, if I could talk to you offline about, you know, what the Red Cross might be able to do, you know, to be able to shelter them for a while. Okay, that would be helpful. So if I could talk to you about getting some information about that, I will share that with them.
Well, that information I got from the zoning officer.
Okay.
And I would assume, you know, first of all, like I've already told them, like I tell everyone, 211 is one of the best resources they have nationwide. You know, you call 211 and you tell them what your situation is, and they have people that will help you. So I'm assuming, I would think 211 has access to Red Cross. But Burton, I think that's his name, Alex Burton. Alex, are you there? I think his name is Bill Burton.
Yes, Bill, sorry, Bill.
He's the zoning officer. So like I said, he said he will not go and condemn the place, you know, to give us time to, you know, get them a place to stay, but that they need to, you know, he works with Red Cross. So that's all he said. So I think if they call Red Cross, if they call 211, they might get some help. But they really need to stop interfering with Donna's people. So, I mean, you can't stop a person from talking or sharing their mind, but Donna needs to be the one to tell her realtor, you know, stop showing the place. But if she sells it and they know that there's an assessment, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can sell your unit and let people know that there's an assessment and that's included in the sale. But the people, if they're being told, oh, run, don't buy here, is this, is that, she'll never sell the place.
Are the people doing that, by the way?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That's inappropriate. Have any units been sold in the last couple of months, Renee?
Sure. Units have been, the last unit that was sold, you know, that's where I'm having a problem with the upstairs tenant.
Okay.
Now, and I hate to do this, but let me just take a minute. Everybody has to like talk to your tenants. I want you to know that there's a light bulb on the outside of the building. I'm always begging them kids, stop throwing the basketball against the building. Well, guess what? The light bulb is now broken. Okay, the shade is hanging off. Donald wanted to fix it and I told him, no, wait and let me tell, because you guys need to like really come out and look and see what your tenants are doing. Another same tenants put a hole in the stairs. So if you go to walk down the stairs, their foot would have went through it. But I let Tom fix that because I can't afford that liability. That's a lawsuit if somebody goes through that stairs. The kid said, I needed to get my toy. Well, first he said he needed to get his cell phone. Then Tom told him your cell phone could not fit in here. All right, then he said, oh, well, it was my toy. But the thing is, the kids are running wild in Snowshoe and the parents are not watching. And I'm talking to owners and owners are not talking to the parents.
Go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, as a quality of life director, I've spoken to certain people to ask their kids to police the place, pick up their trash and everything, pick up their bikes, to people who play loud noise and everything. This is all in our bylaws that the owners should talk to their tenants, you know, try and be respectful of the community. So when you talk to them, remember my little filigree over here. Tell them to, you know, respect it to community standards, please. Thank you.
And the last thing I'm gonna say, which y'all might not understand, but one of the tenants, or which doesn't matter in this case, a resident, ran over the bicycle. He never even walked to the back of his car to see if anything was back there. And I don't know if that means he should or shouldn't, but here's what he did. He backed out, the bicycle got caught in his transmission. They had to jack the car and cut the bike out. Now, there's two little wagons that when I go, I make them move the wagons. One was parked right behind a truck. What happens if that driver gets in that truck and backs over a kid? So, you know, you gotta talk to your tenants. I'm done. Anybody have any other questions? No other statements? It's
I have
it.
one question.
I'm sorry, I was going to answer, Edgar wanted to know how many owners. I counted 35.
35. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Nagesh. I have a quick question in general, nothing specific to the discussion what we had right now. So the patio doors, like on windows right now, whatever you guys are replacing, that's fine with me. One of my unit is having a bad patio door, and recently, like last couple of years back, they replaced the deck, and the flashing was not done again on that unit, and it ruined the whole wall inside. And also the patio door is falling off. So when I checked with the association with Rene, like it's a 4-month wait as I heard. So can I go ahead and replace that? I already asked that personally, but I'm asking in open forum right now.
And I'm glad you asked that question because I knew I had something for Ed Hoffman. Ed, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. From what I found out from Brett and a couple of others and the insurance company, what we're responsible for is outside the building, the roofs, the crawl space. Whatever happens on the inside, they said I'm supposed to tell the owners to talk to their insurance company. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm going to give you a lawyer answer, kind of. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's
So the specific answer would come from your declaration of covenants, and that would specifically provide what owners versus the association are responsible for. So any in a condominium, by the way, in Pennsylvania and in other states as well, typically, and I'm going to generalize this a lot right now, there might be more specificity in your declaration, but unit owners are obviously responsible for their units, associations responsible for the common elements. Unit owners are responsible for betterments and improvements to their units as well. And those, the association's insurance company would never cover, even if the association's insurance company were paying on a claim for damage. Betterments and improvements have to be covered by the HO6 policy held by a unit owner. So that's your homeowners association policy that for a condominium in Pennsylvania. With respect to specific items of maintenance and responsibility, I would need to know what the issues are, and then I'd be able to tell you. I'd review your declaration and be able to tell you what the answer would be to that. It depends on the issue.
Okay, because I do have a couple of people that have asked, that have gone to their insurance company, and they want our declaration page from our insurance, and they needed the bylaws. So I already sent the bylaws. I just had to get my hands on the declaration to send them back.
Yeah, I'm talking about the declaration of covenants. And you're talking about the insurance, the COI, the certificate of insurance, which is the insurance declaration page. So they're two.
You're talking about is what?
I'm talking about the declaration of covenants, which is the recorded document for Snowshoe.
Okay.
That specifically delineates the responsibility.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But your insurance companies typically, to get to Nagesh's question, the insurance companies typically will communicate with one another. So the association's general liability carrier will communicate with the homeowners insurance company, and they'll typically dispute coverage issues based on what the cause of loss is. There has to be a coverable loss, and then who is responsible is going to be based on the declaration, the recorded declaration here for snowshoe. And they'll then determine who pays what if there's coverage for it.
And which one of these is that document?
Declaration, snowshoe of Mount Pocono.
This
Called the
is Articles of Incorporation. That's not it, right?
Yep. It's a declaration of covenants.
The Declaration of Covenant. So would it be this one?
Let's see. Yep, you bet. That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one. That's the one, Renee, that if you sent them the bylaws and your certificate of insurance, they're gonna write back again and ask you for that document that Joe just put on the screen. They're gonna want that one too. Trust me.
Okay,
Send it
so,
to you now.
yeah, send them to me. Let me send them to them. And let's see what happens.
Renee, has my insurance company, Eric Insurance, been in touch with you?
No,
Okay, all right. They
no.
probably will be, all right, for that same information.
Okay, but then didn't I send it to you? Didn't you ask me for it and I sent it to you? I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I
they-
didn't send you the declaration, no.
No, not the declaration. No, but they said they wanted to talk to the president of the association.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a new person in a week. Y'all keep messing with me.
Listen, I nominated you for president. You accepted the nomination, and now you got the responsibility.
Yeah, love you too.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other
Yeah,
comments?
Renee, like I didn't get my answer actually. Like I got deviated, so I'm okay with the answer with the insurance point of view. But like, what is the policy on like replacing that for deck doors, whatever?
Okay,
What is-
so what I have been doing, if you've noticed, like I've been trying, like every month I try to replace either someone's deck or someone's window. But theoretically, that's all in it's all in the
Estimate.
report
Yeah.
for what's being done. Like the only way I'm gonna be able to do everybody's door at one time is if we get one, get that money like that, or we go ahead and we vote and we say, okay, then we'll just be going from 139 right around the circle. But I have gone to almost every building and I've done either a window or a patio door. Just like I told you, I spoke to someone because you brought a patio door, right?
Yeah, because mine is emergency right now. I can't wait until 4 months because it's leaking, it's spoiling this floor. It's like, yeah. So
Okay,
what is?
we have always said from the beginning, if you as owners want to do something and we reimburse you as as things go, then we'll do it. The patio door is our responsibility. The subfloor in front of the patio door is our responsibility. So yes, it has to be done, but there's like 10, 12 patio doors that need to be done. There's like 30 windows that want to be done. And I do one, so I haven't done any in your building. So I'll do maybe your patio.
No, fine. My question is for the people who want to do their work. Like, what is the policy? Let's say if I want to invest the money and get the work done to avoid more damage, is there authorization? Like,
At this moment, they need to just wait. At this moment, they need to wait because right now there's a possibility we have the money coming from someplace else. And if we sign an agreement with Crawl Space, then he'll be doing that kind of work. Or
Okay,
with
but-
Reels 77. So I
so
can't
it's
give
causing more damage right now. That's what. It's every rain cause more damage.
right. Like right now, it's pouring terribly outside. So I expect at 11 o'clock to get more phone calls. But even so, I can't jump on everybody's door.
No. What
I'm
I'm asking is
doing
not to pay out of your pocket or not to bring somebody to replace it. I can get it done with my expenses, and like maybe reimburse later, like when funds come in or whatever. Right? I don't want to wait 4 months, like every rain from now to until 4 months. I don't want like.
Nagesh, we had set
Yeah.
a policy that any owner that wants to do work, they would send a written request to the board, and then we would consider it and approve it at work.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
But
I'll send the request.
I don't want you to be mistaken that we're going to replace it right away. because we can't. If we can replace it right away, then we can do it right away and it defeats the whole purpose.
I'm not asking you to
He's
replace.
saying
I'm
he'll pay
asking
for
I
it, he
will
just
get
wants
it
to be
replaced.
reimbursed.
Making sure that you
Yeah.
understand that it's gonna come, like, we're not gonna replace it tomorrow. We'll probably replace it, down the road.
What,
No,
what
but
he's
I-
asking is for him to do the work and pay for it. He replaces it himself and then the board reimburses it. Because he
Right.
wants it done right away. So what I'm saying is send a request and we can discuss it and then, we'll let you know in writing whether you can go ahead and do the work yourself and we'll reimburse you. We don't have, a time frame for the reimbursement depending on the cost, because as you know, we just had a conversation about our finances here and money is very tight. So everybody's coming from everywhere with all of these issues and there's a lot of them. And, where are we going to get all this money from?
No, I understand. My question is like, I'm not asking money right away. I'm not asking
Right,
to reimburse
I
right away.
answered
The
your
thing
question.
is, it's
Send
an
in the
emergency.
request.
Yeah,
Send
I'll
in the
do that.
request and we'll let you know.
No issues. Fine.
Natalie, you've got a question? You got to unmute, Natalie. Unmute.
All right. Okay. My question is, we shell out this money. In the future, we're gonna take the money back, or just we're gonna use the money and never take it back anything.
You're
So
talking
the
about the
assessment, you guys
assessment?
want to do it?
No, the assessment is not returned. Unless, we get tons of grant money or funds from everywhere, and then we can offset any future payments if you're on a payment plan or something like that.
I said,
They got a refund.
no. All right. Okay.
Natalia, you got to think about it. You got your house out there, right? You live in a house. And if your roof were to be leaking or your basement were to be damaged, you would have to repair it. So that's the similar type of investment in these properties. And the good thing is that we're all sharing the cost, because otherwise, it will probably be less for everybody than if you had to replace all of it on your own. Even for the multiple unit owners, there is a benefit to doing it this way.
Okay. No problem. No, just one question. That's
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
We all could more or less figure out how much the special assessment is going to be based on what we have right now. And that's just if we get approved for the loan. This is what we have. But in a couple of months, you have to put also, we will let you know if we get the grant. So there's all these monies that we're trying to get, and then we will come with a true figure. So right now everyone's calculating and they're calculating in their head a number. That's not true until we get all these monies. So it could be less of the imaginary number that you're thinking of tonight, I think. Okay. So we're just waiting for all this monies to come and before we come up with a number for the special assessment.
Which doesn't mean that we may not get started on some of the most critical things that need to be done right now. And luckily, we may have some of the funds to get started on some of that stuff because of the savings and the monetary control, fiscal discipline that we've had in the last few months.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? If there are no more questions, I just want to say thank you to everybody for a great meeting, very organized and informative. I hope that we were able to answer everybody's questions. Thank you, Ed, for joining us. Renee, for your leadership, Sarah, for your financial stewardship of the ship, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Everybody have a great night.
Good night. Good night.
Brandon, I don't know who you are, but you didn't say anything. Hopefully you'll talk next time. Bye.